Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. And today we are going to do a mock draft for the Fantasy Football Players Championship, picking from the 9th position. It's a 12-team league. And we also got some follow-ups on rookies and injured players. So stay tuned for that. Here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast, coming at you from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I just found out this week that I'm participating in the Fantasy Football Players Championship. I have a number of entries in the Football Guys League Conference League with a top payout of $500,000. And last year was my first year doing FFPC, and I loved it. It was really fun. I love the way they have it set up, and I did actually very well for the first time. I won one of my leagues, and that was a $1,500 payout, which is more than I've ever won on fantasy football before. In my other two leagues, I ended up in 5th place. So I was like right there, right on the cusp. One especially so. One, I literally missed the playoffs by 2 fantasy points total scored during the entire fantasy season. So that was a little hard for me to take, but I'm going to give it another run this year. And I just found out that I'm going to be doing I'm going to be drafting from the 9th position in one of those entries. I've got 5 entries total. And so that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to do a mock draft for the FFPC league. And really basically what it is it is a PPR league, but they give 1.5 points for tight ends. Also, there's an extra flex spot. So there's 2 flex spots instead of 1, and it's a 20-round draft. So I'm going to do an edit. So we're going to do a short, quick draft of those 20 rounds. See what kind of team we can build from that position. Because the 8th, 9th, 10th draft position are, for me, the hardest draft positions you can draft from. It's very difficult. For some reason, I have a lot of trouble with it. So we're going to work on that. But before we get to that, I got a couple things I want to talk about. The first thing is going back to what I talked about on my last podcast, which is regards to a reality check on the rookies this year. And lo and behold, yesterday in my feed, this popped up. John Elway has tempered his expectations for rookies. Broncos general manager John Elway has tempered his expectations after the announcement that the preseason games were canceled. Again, this is all part of what I was talking about. Elway is upset that there will be no preseason games in 2020. Of course, the preseason is valuable for rookies and fringe roster players. But the NFL couldn't run out games that frankly don't matter amidst the pandemic. So rookies like Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler will have to learn their new offense, mostly remotely, and have fewer in-person reps to build chemistry with their quarterbacks. It's a concern for fantasy purposes, although we still expect Jeudy to be the starter for week 1. This is exactly what I was saying. And this is why you really need to be cautious when it comes to rookies. And if you want to take a rookie, I say go ahead and take him, but only take one rookie for your fantasy team. Okay, just to manage that risk a little bit. And the upside could be there, but there's a lot of negatives against rookies this season that rookies in prior seasons haven't had to deal with. So I just actually completed my first draft of the season for the Breakout League. I've been posting that in my Instagram. If you haven't done so already, go to my Instagram at Jimmy Maverick, Jimmie Maverick, and you can find me there. And I got to tell you, I'm very happy with the team that I built. I've got some really nice options there, and guess what? I've got no rookies. I didn't take any rookies, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with it. I love the players that I got. I did get several high upside second-year players, so we'll see what happens with those. But that's definitely who I would focus on this year as a second-year player, a guy that's already been in the system, already playing with their quarterback, playing with those coaches. Those are the best situations to be in. So we'll probably go through and do an analysis of that draft in a future episode. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is injured players. And so we've got news yesterday that Deebo Samuel, who broke his foot in June, they've been saying the whole time they hoped him to be ready for week 1. They hope for him to be ready for week 1. Well, just yesterday or the day before, it came out saying he's not going to be ready for week 1. And that is a huge red flag, man. I mean, how many times have we seen players where they keep saying that, and then all of a sudden the season rolls around and there is nothing. They don't play. We don't see him on the field. He could open up the season on PUP, the physically unable to perform list. Regardless, he's a very, very risky player to take. And as in general, I do not draft injured players. Okay, I actually did draft one in my league. I drafted, who was the guy I drafted? Let's see here. The guy I drafted, Preston Williams. That's who I drafted. But he was my fourth wide receiver. So if he's not ready for a month or whatever, that's totally fine because I've got 3 wide receivers ahead of him, which I have slotted to start. But as a general rule, I don't like to take injured players. What I say is the only time you can control injuries is during the draft. That's the only time during the season that you can control injuries. So draft all healthy players. I want a full complement of players that are all healthy and ready to play week 1. And because the injuries are gonna come, they're gonna happen, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And the best way to deal with it is that you have healthy players behind those players that get injured to fill in those slots and make sure that your team has a very strong roster. So anyway, that's just what I want to talk about there. So let's go, and I'm going to just pause the video for just a second, and we're going to go do our quick draft. All right, so we're going to be running this mock draft on Fantasy Pros today, and I already have it configured up for the FFPC. It's a 20-round draft, 12-team league. We are going to draft from the 9th position. The layout is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex positions, defense, kicker, and 10 bench slots. It is a PPR league, but they also give 1.5 points for tight ends for point per reception. So tight ends are at a premium in this game. And again, picking from the 9th position. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the draft here. Where is the start? There it is. And we're going to use my tool, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick players. Now, if you haven't done so already, I invite you to go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. That's where you're going to find the app. It's exclusively available through my website. It is a web-based app, so you can access it from any device that has an internet connection. And when you log into the app, it's going to ask you 3 questions. And the first question is, how does your league score points? Well, I set this up last year. We now have a PPR with the tight end at 1.5 points. So we will go ahead and we will select that. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? For this draft, I'm going to say no. I just want to see all the players on the list. And then question 3, do you want to enter draft mode? So for draft mode, you have to put in the size of your league. It's a 12-team league. And then what is your draft position? Draft position is 9. So we'll go ahead and we'll enter draft mode. And you can see the player list here. This is a player list like you're normally used to seeing. We've got position filters up here. But what happens in draft mode is it breaks the draft down round by round. And I provide you with recommendations, and players in draft mode, instead of being sorted by their draft position or by a value rank, they are actually sorted by what I call the VORC score, which stands for Value, Outlook, Reliability, and Consistency. It's the 4 key stats that I look at when I'm evaluating players. And based on how they do, and that's these 4 columns right here, value, outlook, reliability, and consistency, based on how they score on each of these 4 points, they earn VORC points. And then those points are added up. That gives them their VORC score, and then it's just sorted by the VORC score. So you can see here, this is showing just the top 12 players. Who's the top player this year? For me, it's Ezekiel Elliott. That's who scores the highest. But of course, you've got Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara right there. They're all very close in VORC score. So as far as I'm concerned, they're all pretty much equivalent value for your fantasy team this year. But what we do is we'll just click on the first round. And what you're going to see is down here, you've got some new icons. And these icons, the little gun means that player's a long shot, which all that means is that it's less than a 50-50 shot that player would be available this turn. So Alvin Kamara normally goes off at pick number 5. So his chances of making it to us are virtually none, probably maybe 2%. But again, it can happen. And then you see players with the little hands next to their name, and that means it's a reach, which means if you don't take him this round, they're going to be a long shot on the next round. So you can choose to either to gamble and say, okay, Kenyon Drake right now is the highest Vork score player that we could take at this point. But we could gamble that he makes it to our next pick, which is pick number 15. Let's see, what does this say? 16, right? Okay, and you can see Kenyon Drake right there. And one other thing to note is that the Vork score is relative to each round. So the only place you'll see the Vork score is if you're in draft mode, because you'll see that here Kenyon Drake scores 67 Vork points in the first round, but in the second round, he scores 74 Vork points. Now, why is that? It's because of the value component of the Vork score is measured against your draft position. So in the first round, you're measuring it against the draft position of 9. In the second round, you're measuring it against the draft position of 16. So his value is better in the second round. So that's why he scores more Vork points, and you'll see that. You also have the ability that if someone happens to become available that you didn't think was going to be available, like here, it's showing Barkley, Elliott, McCaffrey, or Thomas. Let's just say nobody took Thomas. We could restore Thomas onto the list. And you can see here, Michael Thomas, well, he scores 50 Vork points, so he's a good option. What I like to say with Vork score is if they score over 40 points, they're a viable option, but you want players that score as many Vork points as possible. That's really what you're looking for. But you can restore them onto the list, and you can see how they rank against all the other players to determine if that's somebody that you really want to take. So it's really designed to help you and just walk you through round by round as you're going through the list, the players that will be best for your fantasy team. So my recommendations for the first round is either Kenyon Drake, Travis Kelce, or George Kittle. And of course, the reason why we're seeing both Kelce and Kittle here is because they are so valuable with the 1.5 points per reception. Travis Kelce is the 6th most valuable player. George Kittle is the 7th most valuable player. So we could go ahead and start with a tight end, but in this case, I am not going to do that. I'm going to go for Kenyon Drake as my first pick. And so if we go here to the cheat sheets, we can go ahead and look, and you can see here, like here, Julio Jones, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce. There's Kenyon Drake. But, if we look on my list here, well, where's Julio Jones? Julio Jones is right down here. He scores 46 Vork points, so again, he's good. Joe Mixon, 47 Vork points. These guys are good options, but, like Joe Mixon, his value rank is only 23rd in the PPR league. It's not that great. Julio, 9th overall. That's very good. But Kenyon Drake is 13th overall on value, and just his outlook, reliability, and consistency, all very good for this round. So let's go ahead. We will start out, and we will take Kenyon Drake. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we will let it come through here with the new players, and we will see who's available. So if we go now, jump to the second round, we can see here that the app is recommending Kenny Golladay, Zach Ertz, Josh Jacobs. These are all great choices. Let's see here. So we took Kenyon Drake, but you can see George Kittle also potentially could make it to us at this round. He's less than a 50-50 shot. That would be an outstanding choice. Chris Godwin is someone who I very much like in fantasy, but in the FFPC, the championship game is actually on week 13. And so week 13, that is the bye week for Tampa Bay and Carolina this year. So these guys I would not take. Despite the great value, you don't want a guy that's going to carry you through the whole season, and you get to the championship game and he is not going to be available. That's not how you're going to win a championship in this league. So Kenny Golladay scores very good, 61 Vork points, 16th overall on value. Let's see, is Kittle still on the board? Kittle is still on the board. We could take him, but I really want to kind of lock down our elite wide receiver here. Again, just because it's PPR. So let's go ahead. We'll take Kenny Golladay. Go ahead and draft him. And now all we need to do is just jump to the third round. So on the third round, you can see it's recommending Le'Veon Bell, Calvin Ridley, or Leonard Fournette. Those are all really nice choices. We got Robert Woods here as a long shot to make it to us. He also scores very well. Certainly Le'Veon Bell offers the best value rank of any player. By the way, all value rank is it's it takes your league point schedule. It calculates how many projected points they're going to get. That's this column right here. And then it just ranks the players based on that. But one important change that it makes is defenses and quarterbacks are not included in that value rank. Like on Yahoo, they have, I think they call it the X rank on Yahoo, but they didn't do that modification. So like the very best non-quarterback player is like the 15th most valuable player. I think it's Christian McCaffrey. And so it makes it really hard to compare it against your draft position to see if, are they a good choice or a bad choice? Because the numbers are just so messed up. Here, you're comparing, when you're looking at Le'Veon Bell's, value rank, that's valued against all the other running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. So he's the 18th most valuable player, non-quarterback in the league. So so we're going to let it run through all of its people here. And you can see that Le'Veon Bell is still available, as is Calvin. Is Calvin Ridley still on the board? Calvin Ridley is still there. Look, Robert Woods made it to us. That's a great choice. Calvin Ridley, although I really like him, like I said, he's a reacher. He might even make it to our next pick because it's just a short turnaround to our next pick. I think I'd be willing to gamble on that. Let's take another running back, and we'll take Le'Veon Bell because he is one of my favorite options as a bounce-back player this season, just based on that volume that he's going to get. And we'll see if we're lucky enough that, yes, look at that. Calvin Ridley did make it back to us. And look, Robert Woods still on the board. We also got Juju Smith-Schuster, Odell Beckham, and Amari Cooper, three guys who I'm particularly not interested in at all. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go on the upside here. I mean, although I do love Robert Woods. I actually took him in my breakout league. Calvin Ridley is a high upside too. I just really want a piece of that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Ridley. With our fourth pick, since he was a long shot. And Calvin Ridley scores 81 fork points in the fourth round. So he's very valuable, very, very good player to draft at this point in the draft. And now if we go to the fifth round, we can see we've got Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Devin Singletary all ranked very well here. You can see Kareem Hunt is a long shot for this round, who scores very well. I mean, he's fair value. Value rank 57, pick 57. That's about as fair value as you can get. Anyone else with particularly better value? See, right now we're looking at, there's not a lot of players with better value than that. Like even T.Y. Hilton is only slightly better value, but a lot of players, look at this, David Montgomery, value rank 82. You don't want to be taking a player with an 8th round value in the 5th round, right? You just don't want to do that. I do like the idea of going with Kareem Hunt on this round. Let's see here what happens. So I need to extend these. So look, we got Raheem Mostert. Look, Kareem Hunt was taken. Darn it. Okay. But we got Mostert, we got Akers, we got, DJ Chark is still available. That might be an interesting choice. Let's go down here and we'll look for Chark because he wasn't supposed to make it this late. Where does Chark end up on it? Chark scores 42 work points, so he is a good option here. Value rank 51, so he is undervalued relative. Let's look at what other running backs do we have here. So we got Singletary. See, his value rank is 74th. Montgomery, 82nd. Ingram, 70. See, these guys just don't have very good value at all. And Mostert, let's see here. Is Mostert in my 6th round picks here? There he is. And Mostert only scores 20. Oof, not very good at all. All right. So it's not looking real good for running backs. DJ Chark, I think, is a really good choice for us just because, he does score over 40 work points this round. We also got McLaurin, McLaurin and Metcalf. Those guys are also really good. Let's take a look at that real quick. Are they on here? Let's see here. There's McLaurin and there's Metcalf. So both these guys are long shots. Okay, look who scores the most. DK Metcalf. Value rank of 43, so great value here. His biggest drawback is his consistency, just because he's on a low volume pass offense. But this would be our third wide receiver, so I'm very comfortable with that. I love the value here. He scores very well. So even though Chark is still on the board, Metcalf is definitely a better option. So we're going to take him as our third. And I think we definitely need to get ourselves another running back, because, again, the running backs just thin out so quickly on these boards. And let's see here if we go and just look at running backs. Oh, Ronald Jones. Okay, yeah, 59 VORC points. I actually love the idea of going with Ronald Jones. Is he still on the board? He is. Okay, great. We also got, Swift. Mostert is still there, but again, we already said Mostert doesn't score very well here. Swift also only 10 VORC points. Not great value on these guys. And, even though Ronald Jones is a little bit overvalued here, close to what I would consider fair value. And again, I love that offense. I want a piece of that offense. Even though he won't be available for the championship game, if I do make it that far, he is my third running back. So, it makes it a little easier to do that. So, all right. So let's go ahead and go to the 7th round. And in the 7th round is recommending Carson Wentz or Will Fuller. Now, Will Fuller would certainly be a high upside wide receiver because he is, he's so often injured. That is certainly worth considering for running backs. Oh, it says Swift is a long shot. Did Swift by any chance make? Oh my goodness, look at that. Swift did make it to us. Swift only scores 25 VORC points, which is lower than what I expect. And again, he's a rookie. So there's all these negatives, right? There's all these things we got to consider. But taking him as our 4th running back, I think is a great choice. It's a great option. I'm really totally comfortable with that. James White is also on the board. Let's see here. White hasn't even shown up on the list yet. But I'm willing to take a chance on Swift. Like I said, get one rookie and only one. I think Swift will be our rookie. We'll take Swift. I think, the upside is potentially there. And as our 4th running back, we don't need to worry about starting him immediately. We can put him on the bench for a while and see what happens. So now we're on the 8th round. And on the 8th round, where are we at? Let's see here. So it's recommending Sterling Shepard, Hayden Hurst, Jamison Crowder. Now, Hayden Hurst, one of my favorite tight ends to take. And let's just see if he is still available. Who's on the tight end list right now? Just got to scroll down here. Look at that. Hayden Hurst is still on the board. Austin Hooper is there. Mike Gesicki, Rob Gronkowski. I also do like Gronk. But I mean, the upside of Hayden Hurst on a pass-first offense that would have given, had Austin Hooper played all 16 games, he would have had over 120 targets. So you can't deny the upside and the usage of Hayden Hurst. And we'll be grabbing more than one tight end, by the way, with a 10 slot bench. We're definitely going to do that. So let me go ahead. I will take Hayden Hurst. And let's jump to the 9th round. And who's it recommending in the 9th round? Marlon Mack, Rob Gronkowski, San Francisco 49ers. Now, I wouldn't mind going tight end. If Gronk makes it back to us, to have both Gronk and Hurst as my tight ends, both are potentially startable on most weeks. Oh, look, Will Fuller just went off the board. Look, Gronkowski did make it back to us. Let's look at the quarterbacks though also. So, Carson Wentz still on the board. There's Drew Brees, Stafford. Ryan's gone. That's too bad. But I do like Stafford and I do like Daniel Jones. And given that we still have got 4 quarterbacks ahead of Daniel Jones, I'm comfortable with not taking Jones at this point as our quarterback. And I do love, again, second-year breakout players I think are going to be amplified because of the issues with the rookies this year. So I think that the second-year breakout players are extremely good for your fantasy team this year. We are, let's see, where are we at again? We're at the 9th round. Okay, so Marlon Mack, Rob Gronkowski, San Francisco 49ers. So Gronk scores 50 VORC points here. We're at pick 105. His value rank is 76 because it is 1.5 points per reception for tight ends. So I love it. Let's go ahead. Let's take Gronk, man. put Gronk back in play. And again, Gronk is another guy that's not going to be available week 13, but I'm not super concerned about that because I do have another tight end who is, so it's totally fine. So we got the short turnaround here, and if we go up and look, so none of the quarterbacks came off, so that's good. So I think we definitely need to get ourselves probably another running back. Let's see, where are we at on our roster? So on the roster, I've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got 4 running backs, and I've got 1, 2, 3, and I got 3 wide receivers. So I really could use a 4th wide receiver here in the 10th round. This is 10th, right? Yeah, 10th round. So it's recommending Blake Jarwin, another tight end, Daniel Jones, Philip Lindsay, a running back. That's a good choice. What wide receivers are available here? So the only one that scores over 40 is Golden Tate. But let's see who's still on the board. Oh, look at that. Sterling Shepard is still on the board. I think I know exactly who I'm going to take here. If we restore Shepard to the list, Shepard scores 103 Vork points. Because we're pick 112. Look at his value rank, 65th. I also love Shepard because consistency. He was one of the most consistent players when he played last year. Of course, he is an injury risk player. But, again, our 4th wide receiver, I'm comfortable with that. I love the upside of the Giants' offense this year. I labeled them in one of my recent podcasts as a team with a great offense and a terrible defense, and that just means fantasy goldmine. Fantasy goldmine all the way. So we are now in the 11th round. And who's it recommending? Mecole Hardman, Antonio Gibson, New England Patriots. I love those options. Taking Mecole as our 5th wide receiver, I think would be outstanding if he is still on the board. Let's see. Is he still there? No, he got taken. Darn it. But we've got some rookies. So there's CeeDee Lamb, Ruggs, Rager. Look at that, man. The rookies are staying on the board. Perryman, Lazard. We really do need to get a 5th. D.D. Westbrook is a good, safe option. I don't think we need to take him on this round. Let's look at the running backs on this round. So if we look at running backs, we got Gibson. None of these guys score 40 points. Even Gibson only scores 20. But we've got some interesting options here. So let's look at Madison. And let's see here. Who else? Scott is someone who might be on it. There's Chase Edmonds. That Chase Edmonds might be a good one to get as a handcuff to, Kenyon Drake. I do like Boston Scott too, and he actually looks like he's going to be going in the next round. Where he won't make it to the next round. I think I probably have him on here as look at that. I have him on as a 12th round player, but he scores over 40 Vork points. And we got the short turnaround here. Okay, so I think we could wait on Boston Scott for the 12th round. Let's see here. So it was Alexander Madison, and Madison is one. Let me put him back up here. Where is it? Madison. 43 Vork points. Oh, and Daniel Jones is marked here. Oh, yeah. Let's look at okay, so no quarterbacks were taken. See, that's good that we didn't take our quarterback. Okay, so boy, this is a tough one. I think Madison should definitely be our choice. Again, I don't trust Cook this year. This whole talk about holdouts, and then the way they arrange the if a player plays one game this year, their contract will still advance to the next season. They won't have to repeat that contract year again. Normally, if a player holds out, like in the 3rd year of their contract, and they hold out one season and they come back the next year, it's still going to be considered the 3rd year of their contract because they didn't play the prior season. But this year they set it up that if they play at least one game, that will be considered enough to count for that season, and you'll advance to the next year on your contract. Well, Dalvin Cook is on a contract year. So if he goes out, and he's already talked about holding out, right? So you don't need to hold out now. You go in, you do all the practices, you play the first game, and then you hold out. Next season, he is a unrestricted free agent. So, that's what we're talking about here. So, again, Madison's upside is huge. I love that. So let's just go ahead and take the upside of Madison here. And we'll look here at the 12th. And, we're kind of gambling if, Boston Scott went. Too bad. We were trying to gamble on Boston Scott. He did not make it back to us. No quarterbacks have been taken. We're still 5 away. So I'm comfortable with waiting to the next round to take our quarterback. Who do we got? We got, and Edmonds is still on the board. So I think maybe why don't we take our handcuff? You got D.D. Westbrook there too. Ooh, this is a tough one. So for the 12th round, obviously Boston Scott's not there anymore. It's recommending a couple quarterbacks. Was Robbie Anderson still on the board? He's probably gone. I'm guessing he's gone. Yeah, he's already gone. Let's see here. And no one else really scores over 40 Vork points here. So I think we should take our 5th wide receiver. Let's take Dede. And is Westbrook on here? No, he's not even on here yet because he is probably available on a. I don't know where Westbrook is right now. Oh, but there's still Curtis Samuel. Okay, I'm not going to take a wide receiver, but I'm not going to take the quarterback this round. I will take him on the next round. I'm going to take Chase Edmonds just because he's our handcuff, and I think he might have a role on this offense. So let's go ahead and. Okay, so Carson Wentz did come up, and Stafford came up. Okay, so we definitely need to take our quarterback. So now it's Rodgers and Jones. I'm going to go with the upside. I'm going to go with Jones. So we'll go ahead and we'll take him. And then for the 14th round, let's take a look because we've got Lazard. Again, we were talking about maybe going with Curtis Samuel, right? We were talking, Samuel will be our 5th wide receiver, and I do like that. Let's see if who made it back. Okay, so Westbrook did get taken. I figured that was going to happen. And if we go down here to the tight ends, oh look, there's still some good options at tight end. Holy crap! And again, with the double flex spot, you can start up to 3 tight ends in this league, and with the 1.5 points per reception, that's very valuable. Let's just restore Hooper and Gesicki and see how they rank because I bet you they're going to be great. Let's see here. So Gesicki is right there. And Hooper, where are they? Hooper, right at the top, 96 Vork points. We're at pick 160 right now. He offers top 100 value. You cannot pass up that kind of value. That is outstanding. So let's go ahead. We'll take Hooper, and overall, very happy with what's going on this team right now. All right, let's definitely get our 5th wide receiver, and I probably did miss on Curtis Samuel. I'm not seeing him. Yeah, he's already gone. So who do we got? We got Corey Davis, Randall Cobb, Chenault. Not super great options. Let's look at the 15th round. So 15th round, D.D. Westbrook was potentially supposed to make it to us here, but he did not. Renfro's gone. Let's look at the Renfro. Okay. For running backs, Jamal Williams. Again, nobody scores very well at all. See, it says, I don't like any of these players. Go to the next round and find a higher rated player. Let's look at the 16th round, see if there's anybody good there. Corey Davis. Terrible value, though. But, we do need a 5th wide receiver, high reliability. Corey Davis is right there. Let's go ahead and take him. And we only have 5 more spots after this. So let's go ahead and let's get a second quarterback. We definitely want to get a second quarterback. So we got some options here: Newton, Tannehill, Goff, Burrow, Garoppolo, Drew Lock's down here. I love Drew Lock as like as a high risk play, but I kind of like the idea of maybe going with someone like Goff, just because it's going to be a high volume passing offense. Definitely could use a piece of that. Let's see here. So let's go and where are we at? We're at the 16th round. The 16th round. I mean, if we restore Goff, where's he at? Goff's right at the top, 78 VORC points. Yeah, I mean, you can't pass that up. I mean, that's a super solid quarterback 2. Cam Newton could also be a high upside play that we could maybe take a gamble on. And if he doesn't work out, I mean, Cam Newton is not someone who I would normally consider, but he's available really late here. And, it is New England, right? I mean, they're not going to put him on the field if he sucks. Where is Newton on the list? Oh, he's way down here. 3 VORC points? Nah, it's no question. We'll go with Goff. Okay, that's a solid QB2. We'll take one more player, and then we'll take 2 defenses and 1 kicker. So if we are in the 17th round now, so let's go to the 17th round. Anyone of any particular interest? Gerald Everett, there's just it's just all terrible value, right? Gerald Everett's the only one even being recommended here. We already got 3 tight ends. I really don't think we need another one. What about on the 18th? T. Higgins. Oh, that'd be a good rookie. We could take a chance on T. Higgins. Let's see here. Who else is here? Oh, the Eagles defense, which is one which we'll probably end up with. T. Higgins is right here. We're talking a high upside play. I mean, there's other guys here. Look, Mohamed Sanu, and all these guys, none of these guys are startable, right? None of them are startable unless certain things happen. What do we got for running backs here? Ooh, is Carlos Hyde still on the board? Let's see if he's still on the board. I'd take him. Oh, look, there's Benny Snell. I do like Snell also. I don't see him. Let's see, HYDE. Nah, he's already been taken. Okay, that's what I figured. All right. You know what? Let's go ahead. We'll take one more running back. We'll take Snell. Again, I'm not big on Connor at all, and Snell did some stuff last year. He was pretty good, so we'll see if he gets a role. Although it's a very, very crowded backfield. Okay, so now we're down to our final 3 picks. So if we look at our roster, so we're going to get ourselves 2 defenses and a kicker. So let's go ahead and get our defense first. You see who's available here. Really, the only 2 that I'm really super interested in is the Bills and the Eagles, just because they both have great early season schedule. I just love their schedule. So we'll take our Eagles, and it'll be a short turnaround here to our kicker. And had a couple kickers come off the board, but Will Lutz is still there. Let's take him. I had him last year. He actually won me one of my weeks because he had a huge week where he got like 27 fantasy points. And then we'll take one more defense. And I got to say, I could go with the Chargers. I could go with the Bucks. The Browns have also a pretty nice schedule after week 1. Week 1, they got to play the Ravens, but their week 2, week 3 is pretty good. I'm going to go with a high upside play. I love the Bucks this year. I'm just thinking they're a Super Bowl caliber team, so why not get another share of that? And let it finish up here and see what it says about my team. What does it say? C+. Oh, it's so hard. The 9th position is just so difficult. But I got to say, man, I like this team, man. I mean, look who we got. So for our running backs, we got Kenyon Drake and Le'Veon Bell, Ronald Jones, DeAndre Swift, Alexander Madison, Chase Edmonds, and Benny Snell. So nice, solid running back core. Wide receivers, we got Kenny Golladay and Calvin Ridley, that's a great great combo for my wide receiver starters. Then we got DK Metcalf. We've got Sterling Shepard, Corey Davis, and that's it, right? That's just 5. I only got 5. Again, I use my optimal position allocation. So in this particular league, number of wide receiver slots plus the number of flex slots plus 1. So 2 plus 2 plus 1. So that's 5. That's all I need. And the reason I do that is because it's just typically easier to pick up emerging wide receiver talent. And this year especially, it's going to be very easy to pick up emerging wide receiver talent on the waiver wire because there's so many rookies that are going to be slower to develop. So there's going to be stuff available there. Quarterback, Daniel Jones. Tight ends, I got 3 tight ends. I got Hayden Hurst, I got Rob Gronkowski, and I got Austin Hooper. That was a steal, man. Austin Hooper, where I got him, was just a total absolute steal. I would not expect him to be available at that point in a regular FFPC draft. Then defense, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like this team, and Will Lutz is my kicker. I mean, I got to say, man, I don't see any problems with this team. I think I managed my risk properly with my rookies. I got some high upside second-year players here. Again, I think this is a really nice team. I think it's better than C+. But, again, draft grades, take them with a grain of salt because oftentimes they have no relation to how the team actually does once the season starts. But I do very much like this team for fantasy. So there you go. So that's it. So that's a FFPC draft. And like I said, I think my tool can really help you out in finding the best players at each and every pick in your draft. Again, I think this was a fantastic team. I would have no problems taking that team into the regular season with me. Please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, and try the app out. You can try it out for free. I have a restricted version of the app. You just need to sign up. You can access the app for free for standard points leagues, 12 team. You can break it down by draft mode. And if you like it, you can subscribe. It's only $19.95 for a whole year, unlimited access, unlimited fantasy leagues. And again, this is going to help you get the edge you need on draft day to make the right decisions. And it's just going to help you strategize from round to round. Like, okay, if I don't take him here, does he even have a chance to make it to the next round for me, right? When should I reach for a player? Well, you saw the little hands. They're saying, like, if you really want this player, you better take him now because he might not be available on the next round. It helps you out with that sort of stuff and gives you critical pieces of information that you need to know, like the value rank. Very important to see. And I ended up with a lot of top 100 players, so very happy with that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching today. I hope you liked the video. Please leave me any messages or comments. And, like I said, if you haven't, please also like and subscribe because I really want to build my subscribers. And I hope you like the content and all that good stuff. So thanks once again. Have yourself a great day, and we'll talk again on Saturday.